everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. I'm going to be making a fall themed card today. And I pulled a few things. We've got Happy Thanks Die from Concord and Night. It has the thank you or oh happy day. I'm thinking about using the thank you. And it is oversized. So we'll definitely have to build our card in a horizontal orientation instead of a vertical. I pulled the Cottage Garden stencil pack as well. And I've created with this before. I will show you. I made this card for my channel. Let's take it out of the sleeve. And I just used one of the stencils there so you could just see the flower petals and then the leaves. And I don't believe I made this for the channel. This is the full stencil. And it has this little plant up here and some accents underneath the sentiment there. But I thought that it would be interesting to see the colors, fall colors with this Cottage Garden pack, because this is definitely a spring stencil. But like I've said before on my channel, I try to make multiple cards with the stuff that I have to really get the use out of them and also inspire you. And I pulled the Happy Thanks stamp set, which I believe is coordinating with these two dies here. And this may come in handy for a sub-sentiment. Who knows? All right, so I have cardstock here. I'm using 110 pound because this is part of my scraps, but I also wanted an oversized piece of cardstock to work with, so I have the space to tape it down and then tape down the stencils as well, and then we'll just cut out what we need after we're done. So these are not numbered. So let me think here. Overthinking it. I'm going to turn this right side up. It does have the Concord and Ninth name engraved into the stencil. So let me secure this cardstock down a little more, and then I'm just taking my mint tape and I am going to tape up the stencil so it doesn't slide. As for the inks, I'm going to be using my Concord and Ninth blending brushes. Well, they're not Concord and Ninth. They are an Amazon brand of brushes, but I only use them for my Concord and Ninth inks. That's a better way to say that. Okay, so I pulled avocado and lemongrass for the greenery, sunflower for the center of the flowers, and then I thought I could do 3 different colors of flowers, one in peacock, cayenne, and spice cider, and I'll just layer them. Let's just come in with peacock and just start ink blending. I've not used this color. Ooh, that's very, very, very blue. But you can always layer it to get the true color, which is this darker. So it's a big difference. I'm going to come in with this layer with a very light hand, because I want this to be the lightest of the color. And when we come in with the second layer of petals, we will darken that up. Okay. Now let's take spice cider. I want this flower up here to be in the spice cider. So let's move this tape over so I can protect this flower. And let's get a new brush. Ooh, very, very saturated. Okay, once again, coming in with a very light hand. I don't want too much color on this first layer. And I'm not worrying about the excess cardstock because we're just going to cut that excess off once we're done. I'm putting way too much on my brush. So that's why there's so much ink there. I haven't used these colors, so I wasn't aware of that. So I don't want to waste my colors. So I'm going to use the excess on my glass mat for the second layer when we darken the second layer of the petal up. Oh shoot, look at me. Crud. Rats. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna turn this paper over and do all this over again. And just try to pay a little more attention to where I'm putting my tape and where I'm, you know, masking off, because I don't want that to happen again. So let me do that real quick and then we'll move on to the next layer. So I made a couple of changes. And one change is taking away peacock and bringing in eggplant. Once I lifted up the stencil, the blue was just not the right blue because I wanted to come in light and then build up from there with the second layer. So that blue wasn't going to work. So eggplant seems to look pretty good right now. And then I switched the cayenne and what was the peacock. If you're following what I'm putting down, I am just trying to pick that stencil up. Yes, that looks a lot better. It flows much nicer. Okay, so we are done with stencil 1. Let's just set this somewhere. Okay, so this is the second layer. And once I get it lined up, so now you can see that this is going to be the second petal. And I'm going to come in with the same color, just darken it up a bit. And let's get this lined up and secured. I'm going to dab my brush again and I'm going to tap off, but I am definitely going to make this darker, and it is already just with that little bit there is significantly darker. So let's bring in eggplant and come in dark with that second layer. So I want to point out, there's this area right there is darker, and that's because I tapped my brush on my ink pad and just went straight to it instead of tapping it. That's why I like to tap it, because it helps me come in and have more of a flawless ink blend instead of having this blotchiness right there. So that was a good example of why I like to tap my brush on my glass mat first. Okay, so lastly, let's bring in this cayenne using what's on my glass mat and just trying to secure this stencil up here as well. I love it. That is perfect, perfect for fall. Okay, so now we've got our last stencil here, and this is for the center of the flowers, and then if you wanted to add the leaves for the greenery. Let's just work on the center of the flowers, these 3 circles, and then we'll work on the leaves, because I do want to add some green to the flowers. Okay. And just for safe measure, add a piece there, and lastly here. Okay, now I brought in sunflower for the center of the flower because I wanted it to be darker in color and not bright, because a bright yellow reminds me of summer and spring. I wanted more of a mustard undertone to match the colors that we were working with. And I hope that this looks good. We'll see. Okay. Another new color to me that I have not used, so. And I want to darken this up too. There we go. I just need to kind of play musical chairs with my tape and line this up so I can color the leaves to the flowers. So let's bring in the 2 colors. I was thinking about using avocado and lemongrass, maybe lemongrass for like the tips of the flowers, and then you know, kind of having a gradient effect and moving into the avocado. So once again, lemongrass, which I'd already put a little bit on there before, and then heavy hand at the base and blend out. Let's pick up our stencil. I love it. And I've got color, ink kind of in areas where it shouldn't, but our sentiment's going to go somewhere around there. The thank you, so I think it's going to be okay. Oh man, you see how that's got, it just needs a little more. I wasn't lining my stencils up too well because there's a little bit of white, but oh well. So these were the colors before. That's why I took out the blue and switched these around. This purple, the eggplant, looks a lot better with the cayenne and the spiced cider. And I'm really loving the soft, lighter tips of the leaves. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off my glass mat, go clean off my stencils, and then we will work on the next step. All right, so this is what we're working with, and I brought out my layering A2 dies here, and I'm going to come in with the third one down, or third one in. Let's see how we want to cut this down, because our card is going to be an A2 size card. And I'm thinking that that might be a little too small because our sentiment is large. So let's try this one. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull my sentiment out and lay it on my card or my panel so I can decipher the size. So we've got the shadow layer there because I'm going to use that along with the text. I'm going to secure both sides. Let's pick this up. Okay, now I'm going to run this through my Spellbinders Platinum 6. And if you didn't have these A2 layer dies, you could always use your paper trimmer. I just wanted it to have a crisp edge, like it's a pressed edge from the die. I thought it was a nice touch for this card because of the floral. Now let's move that panel aside, and I've got some other cardstock here. And what I'm going to do is cut out the shadow layer a couple of times in 110 pound cardstock to build it up. And then I think I want to cut out the thank you in gold glitter. Okay, so this cut out in 2 layers. It's got an outline layer and then the letters. So I want to remove this outline layer. So there we've got the outline layer. You could use this for a project. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Let's make some space. Gets really messy in a quick. Okay, so we've got our panel. We've got our shadow layer. And let's see how this is going to look. Just set that like so. I think I like it, but I definitely want to prop up the shadow layer, and then we'll pop up the panel too. Yeah, I think I like this. Let me just finish putting this on. Okay. I think it looks really pretty. Now you could use a colored cardstock for the shadow layer and, you know, white for the thank you. I could make the shadow layer in gold and then the thank you in white. But I'm thinking that I'm thinking that I like the white. Okay. So what I want to do before I start messing with all of that, putting all that together, let's bring in our card base. And I already see that I'm going to have to trim this side down because it's just not a clean edge. Let's go ahead and fold this. Yeah, once again, the alignment's off because I'm just scoring at the wrong... I'm not scoring at the wrong area. I'm aligning my paper wrong on the scoreboard that I have. So it's messing up my measurements. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and cut off that remaining piece. Okay. And I'm going to open this back up and cut this down just a smidge because it's just not a very clean edge. Alrighty, so we have an A2 size card base in a horizontal or landscape orientation, and the size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Let's move this out of the way. Bring in our card base and just move it over to the side of my mat. Let's turn over our panel and go ahead and build this up with some foam tape. Okay. Now I can move my card base back in, and I'm going to remove these backers, and then we'll get the panel secured, and then we'll work on our sentiment and decide on if we're going to use a sub-sentiment. Okay, perfect. And it does have a little ink that I somehow got onto the panel. But like I said, we're just going to cover it up with the sentiment here. All right, so layering these two white shadow layers, making sure that they are aligned and really together. And now let's go ahead and prop this up with some foam as well. Let me get a different roll. This is quite thick. I'm going to bring in this one here and just cut off some strips. Last one. Shift this over. Oh no! That stinks. What is going on? I'm going to center align this, lay it down, and man, I might have to add another layer onto that because I'm just getting stuff all over my card that I don't want there. Oh man, I wonder if I laid this crooked. I think I did. Of course I did. And it's crooked. I want to align it based on the shape, or the way that I laid it down is based on the shape, and that's just not gonna work. So I was able to take this off without messing up anything, but it is now bent. So I'm gonna throw this away and cut it back out, and then maybe we'll attach the thank you first so I can align the text so it's not slanted, because that did not look good. That's not the look that I want for my card. So let me go ahead and off camera just cut those layers back out, and we're getting there. We will accomplish our goal in finishing this card today. Okay. So I cut the shadow layers out again twice. And now I'm just going to apply some glue to the thank you. And I already glued them together as well. But that's how I put it on the card. And look how crooked that is. It is supposed to be more like that, I think. See, this is, no, it's not. It's messing me up. This one is just weird to me. Okay. Yeah, definitely be attentive of positioning because this one's a little confusing for my eye. Let's lay this down. Okay. Okay, let's line it up. Press it down. Alrighty, I'm just going to wipe off my tweezers there. And so let's bring in our card base. And that's what we're looking at. I love this. This turned out beautiful. The colors, it is so fall. So I definitely want to prop it up like I was doing before. So once again, I need to take the tweezers off there. I'm just going to lay a couple of strips down. And I don't need to lay down as much as I was before because I layered 2 110-pound pieces of cardstock. So that is pretty substantial. And we'll just put that piece there. So now I just need to take off the backers and then we'll get this positioned. Check the description box. I will list the colors that I used for the ink blending. So if you want that color palette, you can access that in the description box. And also, if you have Instagram, I have my Instagram accounts linked down below as well. I've got 2 different ones. Okay. So let me use my tweezers. Make sure this is straight. Okay. Get that pressed down. And this is what we have so far. I love the colors. I'm so glad I changed to the purple and switched them. And you can see the dimension, not only for the panel, but also the sentiment. And we did bring out some of the coordinating stamps for a possible sub-sentiment. And it has a sub-sentiment for that thing you did. So thank you for that thing you did, or thank you, you're the absolute best. Thank you oh so much with the exclamation point. It also has thank you, thank you. And I'm thinking oh so much. Let's play with that and see if it needs a sentiment. Okay. Or a sub-sentiment rather, excuse me. Because it is so small. I'm just not sure. You know what? I could stamp this inside as well. We might do that. I want to do that. So let me get my mini Misty and let's open this up. Let's see if this is even going to work. I do have a stamping block I could use. Let's see. Oh man, that's not going to work. Okay, so scratch that because I don't have a larger one. I only have the mini. And let's just lay this down. Okay, line it up. And I haven't used these stamps before, so I'm just going to rub my finger across to get any oils or anything off of the brand new stamp. And it kind of looks crooked. Okay, so let's bring in scrap paper and test this out. Now, do I want to do a black or do I want to do it in a color that we used for the front? I'm thinking I want to use a color, so let's bring in Cayenne and see how this stamps out. Okay. Oh yeah, that stamps out perfect. Okay, so let's just stamp it up again. And I'm gonna, well, shoot. Let's see. Look at that. Look what I'm doing. What a day. Okay. You know what? I didn't even pay attention if it's going to be straight. It's not straight. Yeah. So thank you oh so much. All right. So it's not completely straight, but, you know, I tried. So we've got the thank you oh so much. And then just enough room to write a little sweet message. So I pulled some embellishments. These have been my go-to embellishments lately, besides the dewdrops. And it's because it goes with a lot of gold, but it's not quite a gold. And it's just from Hobby Lobby, the paper studio. And it comes with 5 different sizes. So I'm going to start with the second size up. I'm not sure where I want these to go. No, that's the same size. Okay, so maybe just 2 there, and then maybe we can go even 1 size bigger than that, and maybe put 1 like right there. Is that enough? I guess it depends on your preference. But I just keep, I don't know, I just keep gravitating to just 3. But I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, I just keep gravitating to just like 3 little embellishments. But you could definitely have fun with more if you wanted. I love the color palette and the dimension and that darker gold glitter. And that cardstock's from Joann Fabrics. All right, everyone, if you liked this video, if you were inspired for fall, give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel a great deal. And subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next card or crafts. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. Bye, everyone.